Dan Fouts in the first half numbers. They break down just like the scoreboard. The Chargers dominant.
Well, they sure are. 186 yards passing for Dan Fouts, 13 of 16. One turnover in that, and Fouts was victimized when the ball popped up in the air, headed for his offensive receiver, and good defensive play by the cornerback of the Cleveland Browns, Hanford Dixon, in the first half, that gave the Browns an opportunity to turn the ball over. Brian Sipe, number 17, headgear on. He will undoubtedly start. Paul McDonald, number 16, is also loosening up. Sam Bertigliano told me that, this is his man. Brian Sipe is the #1 quarterback. Particularly, he's had the experience in playing the teams that they're going to have to play down the stretch. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh twice. Teams in their division that he has played and defeated in the past.
There's the heir apparent, Paul McDonald. He's a winner, too. The record shows that. In fact, as a collegiate player, he had the lowest career interception rate of any player in NCAA history. He knows where he's throwing it.
He seems like too nice a young man. He really is. And he understands the situation.
Well, like he said, McDonald, I thought it was a rather admirable thing to say at the time when everybody's calling for Sipe to be replaced. He said, I appreciate Coach Bertigliano staying with Brian Sipe. I'd want to be treated the same way if I won as many games for a franchise as Brian Sipe has.
Yeah, absolutely correct.
Benirschke kicks off for the Chargers. A high spinning kick. Dwight Walker, the rookie's going to take it to the 6-yard line. He's to the 10. He is to the 20. A penalty marker goes down, and the ball comes out to the 26-yard line, but it probably will all come back on a foul against the blockers for Cleveland.
Well, number 37, Hank Bahr, is pointing a finger over there. The flag has been thrown, and generally that's an indication. Here it is, 37, a great special teams player, Hank Bahr, 37, a halfback. He goes after the ball carrier. But he says, I don't have the ball. He's a halfback, but he's on the other side.
Hank a little thin on top from all that button into the end zone he's done.
Holding, number 53 on the return, first down.
Here it is that we were just showing you. Number 53 of the Cleveland Browns is Bill Cowher, a linebacker. Putting the Browns in a hole.
The Browns in a hole on the scoreboard and on the playing field as they come out 1st and 10. Sipe swings it out, and he goes right to his tight end, Ozzie Newsome, who's ahead for good yards, close to a first down. The rule now that he stepped out of bounds inside the 20, so he's going to be about 3 yards short of the first down. They got 7. Newsome has now caught 3 passes for 48 yards for Cleveland. They're the pass catchers for Sipe and the Cleveland Browns. Logan, Feature, and Newsome. Offensive line has protected Sipe quite well, particularly in the long drives that came up dry when they could not get points. The crowd low at Cleveland. In 1980, when they had that great team, they led the NFL with over 80,000 a game. And last year, with a 5-11 team, the Browns had a 72,000 average attendance. Now the swing pass, and it goes out this time to Ricky Feature. He's ahead for a first down. Brown followers think there might have been a late hit. Jeff Allen, the cornerback, number 27, made the stop. Laird and Fox are the safeties. Allen and Williams are the corners. Lyndon King, Cliff Thrift, and Woodrow Lowe backing the line. And the secondary, Fox with some big plays in the first half. Defensive front has Big Hands Johnson and 1 tackle Ferguson, the right end. Leroy Jones, the down lineman, ready to tee off and go. 1st and 10. The Browns have to throw, but this time they're going to go to the run on the draw play. Pruitt crashes ahead. Look at him sprint. This is a 225-pound back who is legitimately clocked in 4.4 on the 40-yard dash. And that immediately propelled him to the top of the NFL draft list when he came out of Purdue.
I think you're going to see the great ability of Mike Pruitt. He's going to slip right here. Now he's going to have to change directions. He slips, maintains his balance, sees the opening, which is the sign of a great runner, that he's running with his head up and he sees where the opening is. He finds that opening and picks up the first down.
17-yard run as Mike Pruitt having a big day, and the Browns get the ball out to their 44-yard line. 1st and 10. Charles White in the backfield now along with Pruitt. Screen. Blockers are out in front. Pruitt comes up, and a hard hit made by Lyndon King, or Pruitt would have gone a long way. Keith Ferguson also on the stop along with Lyndon King, the outside linebacker. There was a gain on the play. Oh, a pickup of 3 at 2nd down and 7.
Don, that looked like that play was going to be a big one because they had 3 offensive linemen out in front of the ball carrier, but they failed to make the blocks downfield. And this man, 57, Lyndon King, did make a fine play coming up with the stop. Well, if he didn't make the stop, it was really going to be a big play.
2nd and 7 as Sipe has 3 wide receivers out. 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Too high. Ooh, looking over the middle at Dave Logan, who can go up in the air. He was a basketball player of pro caliber quality at Colorado. Too high and very
that
nearly.
Ball got away from him because that just sailed right over Logan's head. He may have been a basketball player, but he can't jump 9 feet.
And again, in that zone defense, the San Diego secondary men were looming very close to the football. They picked off 2 already.
Another big 3rd down situation for the Cleveland Browns. 3rd and 6.
Logan goes way wide to the left. Laird, the strong safety, comes right up tight on tight end Ozzie Newsome at the top of your screen. Sipe gets time. He looks. He's got a man, and Ozzie Newsome is down to the 34-yard line. The big play for Cleveland on 3rd down results in a 1st down, a 17-yard gain.
Well, the offensive line provided Brian with a lot of time to go back and survey the secondary. You take a look at the offensive line. Gary Johnson, number 79, he's over there with 54 as the center. De Leon, Robert Jackson, and Lamalier over there, as you can see, number 73 is Deacon also. And here it is, a throw. This is an outstanding throw and a great catch because actually good coverage on Ozzie Newsome. Number 30, Bruce Laird, the strong safety, was right there with him.
1st and 10. Pruitt gets the call, and San Diego's defense gets tough and doesn't give much. The linebacker, Cliff Thrift, number 59, was the first man in on the play. Wilbur Young, number 99, also on the stop. 12 minutes and 5 seconds to play at Cleveland Stadium on the shores of Lake Erie. The home of the great Brown teams of years past. 4 times the Browns have won the National Football League championship, including the first year they were in the league in 1950. They beat the Rams in an overtime game. Cleo Miller comes into the backfield. Logan goes in motion. 2nd down and a long 8. There's a strike. Charles White has the ball. Charles White works his way ahead. Looks like he has another 1st down for Cleveland. 8-yard gain.
What's going on is that Brian is looking downfield. He's looking at the zone. That's what San Diego is playing. They're playing a zone defense. 59, Thrift is middle linebacker. He's going back into a zone, reading the quarterback. When the quarterback gets rid of the ball, his job is to come up and make the tackle. And he did, along with the help of number 51, which is Woodrow Lowe. But wasn't exactly a 1st down. It's 3rd and 1. So looking at Cleveland, Don, I would assume they have 2 shots to run the ball to pick up the 1st down.
Charles did some crawling, some scratching to get ahead, but they moved it back to the 25. 3rd and foot. Pruitt very nearly left early in the backfield. He gets ahead. It's a 1st down for Cleveland with 10:50 to play in the 3rd quarter. 10th play of the drive coming up.
All right, here you are. Taking a look at number 83, Ricky Feature. His job is not only to catch the ball, but he's got a block sometimes, too. He's putting a block on Bruce Laird, and fortunately, his head was not in that helmet when it flew off of there.
Ricky lost his head. But ready to go again as a wide out to the left. 1st and 10, Cleveland. Cubs getting time. Swings it out now. This is Pruitt. San Diego defense, Lenny, gives you a lot of room there. They're back in that zone.
And they've got to take that. Cleveland has to take that. He was looking downfield. That was not a screen pass. Mike Pruitt was just an outlet. Brian Sipe was looking downfield. If there's no one there, get the ball out to this man. He's the best running back on Cleveland's team. He's averaged over 1,000 yards the last couple of years rushing with the football. Let somebody make an open field tackle on him and down there. That's what San Diego will do with Muncie. That big back out there. One-on-one on the defensive backs.
2nd down and 6 coming up for Cleveland. At the 20-yard line is Sipe. Takes his drop, sets it, surveys the receivers, and goes to Ozzie Newsome, who's not done yet. Newsome's down to the 9-yard line. Another first down for Cleveland. A very impressive drive engineered by Brian Sipe of the Browns.
Ozzie Newsome is something, isn't he? He took a real shot when he made that reception. Sipe going back to throw. Once again, he's looking over that zone defense. Swift is dropping back in the zone. He's reading the quarterback. He's looking right at Sipe. Sipe is looking at him. He fires it to Newsome. He makes the shot on him. Finally, he stayed with him and tripped him up with an ankle, bringing him down, but they've got a first down inside the 10-yard line.
First and goal for Cleveland as Cleveland Stadium comes alive now. Browns trailing 27-3, but moving to open the third quarter. There's a man open. Newsome loses the ball at the back of the end zone. The third time today a Brown receiver has lost the ball in the end zone. That was a well-defended play, though, and Ozzie would have gone beyond to be coming down with that one.
Well, you know that he can catch the ball under situations like this because we just saw him make a catch. Good protection by that offensive line of the Cleveland Browns. It hits him right in the hands. All he has to do is bring it in.
He was also popped by Laird.
He's popped, but he's got his hands on the football, and he's looking at it all the way. His hands right there. Laird is coming after him on the play. Does a good job of stripping the ball from him when he didn't have complete control of it.
Eminently catchable, though. Now it's second and goal for Cleveland. Sipe has whistled that it's a sack. The referee right there looking at the quarterback, and as soon as it's deemed that he's in the grasp of the tackler, the whistle blows. Play is stopped.
He had a number 91, Rick Ackerman, is going to be credited for that sack. It's unusual. They did not call get a huddle, going back hustling with this play right away. Will now.
Oh, he had everybody moving, but no ball snap.
Yes.
Ball was right in the field. So Coach Vitigliano and the Browns, a tough development there. The Browns misfire with 8:21 to play in the third quarter, and again their assessed penalty yardage, and here is the referee, Pat Haggerty.
Ball starts, number 54, offense.
Center Tom DeLeon. You can't start the play without that center.
That's right. He might have moved the ball and then didn't really snap it to Brian Sipe. An additional defensive back, Willie Buchanan, in the ball game for the San Diego Chargers.
Chargers did not easily forget that cold AFC Championship game at Cincinnati. They brought 2.5 tons worth of warm weather equipment, none of which is needed with temperatures in the 60s. Here's a throw. Logan gets the ball, but he'll be way short of the first down. There is no first down, actually. It's still goal. Browns have been pushed back. You recall after the reception by Newsome, it was first and goal from the 9. Now the field goal unit comes out. The boos again start up.
Well, I don't know how they could be booing that man, Brian Sipe. He put the ball to Ozzie Newsome in the end zone that should have been caught for a touchdown. He did it before the half ended to Dino Hall. He didn't hold on to it either. You can throw it, but you can't catch it, too.
Matt Bahr with a 34-yarder. He's got plenty into it. And he has points for the Cleveland Browns, albeit just 3, and it's 27-6. And that does not satisfy the paying customers here in Cleveland. 7:39 left to go in the third quarter. Browns kick it off when we come back. Rain is held off. It threatened all morning. There was a little rain. Here's an onside kick try. And the Browns, now it's ruled he got the ball just short of the 45-yard line. Almost a perfectly executed onside kick.
It might have been if they let it go. If they let it go 10 yards, they had a really excellent shot at coming up with the football. Must let it go 10 yards. He hit it about 8 yards downfield.
They'd have had it. They had nothing but people around the ball, the Browns.
We have a short free kick. Ball will not go 10 yards, a 5-yard penalty, and re-kick again.
I think you're going to get an opportunity to see this. You must let it go 10 yards. Kicking off from the 35-yard line, that would mean the 45. Here it is. There's the 40. Right there, about 8 yards deep. Which means they'll bring it back, and now they'll kick it off from the 30-yard line.
Yeah, the Chargers are going to be looking for it now.
They'll be looking for it, but now, you know, you take a shot. There's 7:35 remaining. You don't want to give San Diego the ball on the 40-yard line. Only 40 yards to go.
That's 2 plays for San Diego into the end zone.
I think that they'll kick it deep. They had to gamble. They had to take a chance down
Coach Coryell's been lamenting the position his team is in, but I think we're going to see those Chargers roaring in the playoffs again.
San Diego's lost 2 ball games. They were defeated by Kansas City. They blocked a kick and scored. They didn't let Kansas City score offensively. A touchdown anyway. Here it
Cox
is.
kicks up and very well. He drives it all the way down to the 2-yard line from his own 30. James Brooks moving upfield. It'll come back. Penalty markers come in. Browns had the ball for almost 7.5 minutes in that opening drive of the third quarter, only to come away with just a field goal. Chip Banks made the tackle on special teams for Cleveland. And now we'll see what Pat Haggerty, a hold against the return team. So the ball will be set back.
That'll put San Diego back in the hole. I was talking about San Diego. They lost 2 games. Kansas City offensively did not score a touchdown. Then they defeated the Chargers. And then, of course, they're ahead of the Raiders 24-0.
Big game down at the Orange Bowl, where Miami has come from behind to take a 12-7 lead over Minnesota. Dolphins don't score many touchdowns, but they do find a way to win. And here's Green Bay leading the Bills 20-7 in the third quarter at Milwaukee. New Orleans and Tampa Bay tied up at 10-all. Third quarter score at the Superdome. Right now, Coach Coryell has a timeout on the field with 7:24 left to play. An official timeout, and we'll be back right after this. California is in the backfield now as the up back in front of James Brooks as San Diego has the ball 1st and 10 at their 14-yard line. Bouts, pump fakes, gives it to Joyner. Blockers are there. Charlie Joyner, in his wisdom, steps out of bounds after a big gainer for a 1st down. Bouts was down after the play. He was hit after he released the ball. A 15-yard gain on the play. Pump fake by Fouts, drew the defense in, then he dumps it off to Joyner for the gainer. And we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
KCST TV, San Diego.
Chuck Muncie took a rap on the nose early, then one on the leg. He scored the first 2 touchdowns of this game. Now James Brooks gets a call on 1st down and 10. James Brooks is ahead across the 30 and out to the 32 or 3-yard line, where outside linebacker Chip Banks knocked him down along with defensive end Marshall Harris.
We had a report just a minute ago on Chuck Muncie that he's all right, that he could play. Just give him a little rest.
Muncie already with 5 rushing touchdowns this season. 2 today. 19 last year to tie the all-time league record for running for scores this season. And here goes James Brooks, who has 2 and looking for more. Quentin Burrell knocked him down, but the Chargers move it out from deep in their own end after the penalty on the kickoff and now have it out across to midfield.
Burrell got it. Here's number 50, Tom Cousineau, and he's supposed to have great lateral movement. He does have quickness because he's eventually going to get involved in the play. The sign of a fine football player is that he never gives up. The problem with that is it's a 1st down for the San Diego Chargers once again. Now they're moving that ball seemingly at will.
Chargers averaged only 97 yards running early in the season, but they're doing a lot better today. And here is Joyner out there, an interception. Lawrence Johnson picks it off, and he's got a lot of blockers, but he cuts back and is knocked down at the 35-yard line. So Johnson, who's been victimized at the left corner with a lot of out patterns and balls being caught on him, comes up with a big interception. The 2nd of Dan Fouts today, and Cleveland gets the ball back.
Dan Fouts was going for it all. He was going up top. He play action pass. He pumped, and he was going deep. But Lawrence Johnson of the Cleveland Browns was the man who was there on the spot. The 2nd interception for the Cleveland Browns. They'll have the ball, and we'll be back in just a moment.
And Dan Fouts, after a 2nd interception, goes to the sidelines as the Browns go back on offense. They had the ball for almost 7.5 minutes the outset of the third quarter, but got only a field goal and trailed 27-6. But they did move it very well. Let's see what they do now with Charles White as the tailback. And Paul McDonald is the quarterback. He lets it go. Or excuse me, Brian Sipe at quarterback, as he has been all game long. Dave Logan was downfield, and Mike Williams was defending against it. And then again, Sipe was on the numbers, but couldn't get the connection. Ball knocked away, or actually lost by Dave Logan.
I'll tell you, he put a fake on a defensive line, and the offensive lineman chopped him down. And he had an opportunity to see everything that was going on downfield. Here it is, number 85. And I'm going to tell you something. I've seen the Cleveland Browns play before, and those receivers don't drop passes like that. They've dropped about 4 of them on Brian Sipe today.
Well, Logan's had some great years. Does not get the ball much this season. Second down and 10 now for Sipe in the Cleveland offense. To 35. There's a penalty marker down in the backfield, and looks like we're going to have a hold call against the Cleveland Browns. So that will put them in very difficult position. And indeed, they're in that already with a 27-6 score in favor of San Diego on the board. That's how it stood at the half.
You don't want to see
27-3 at the half. They did get a field goal their last possession at Cleveland.
Brian Sipe is looking at the San Diego defense in their secondary. We'll take a listen call here.
63, offense.
Cody Risen was called for holding on that play. The second, you can see how deep they are. They're going to concede things up front. They're not going to let you get anything deep. You can see the safety man, Tim Fox, he must be 25, 30 yards deep. There's no one going to get behind him. You have to throw in front of them. You have to be very patient when you're taking on a team that's going to be dropping back like that.
They make no pretense. They're in a zone defense all the time, and it's a defense that will give up short passes, but not the long ones. And that's what Cleveland needs now with 2nd and 20 coming up. A penalty marker down with the snap. Ball well overthrown. And again, the secondary playing very deep came up and tried to make a play on an interception.
He was throwing that ball for Dave Logan, number 57, the linebacker for the San Diego Chargers. Lyndon King must have been at least 20 yards deep. He was behind Logan, and Logan was downfield about 15 to 20 yards.
Wilbur Young's been working at left tackle for almost the entirety of the game. Louis Kelcher was shaken up early, has not come back in. The Chargers going with it.
Offense declined, 3rd down.
Chargers going with the defensive front of Leroy Jones, Wilbur Young, Gary Johnson, and Keith Ferguson. Scores coming in. St. Louis leading Philadelphia now 23 to 13. Jaworski just threw to Montgomery. Chicago Bears now up 23-13 over the New England Patriots at Soldier Field. Another penalty marker down. Sipe stands in, throws the connection down to Dave Logan across the 40. Brian Sipe bravely waiting for the rush to hit him, then releasing just before it got there. 15-yard gain if it goes, with the markers down at the line of scrimmage. It's against San Diego. A surprise score at the Meadowlands in New Jersey. The Houston Oilers, with Archie Manning just throwing to tight end Dave Casper from 8 yards out, has taken a 14-3 lead over the Giants.
Yes, that is surprising. St. Louis also ahead of Philadelphia.
Earlier, Gifford Nielsen had passed for an Oiler touchdown. Now they've gone to Manning. 5:29 left to play in the 3rd quarter here at Cleveland Stadium. Now they're marching the other way.
Well, they may have. See, they were short of the 1st down, and Fitz, they want the ball again. They want another opportunity to get the 1st down. I'm assuming that's offsides against the Chargers.
So instead of
Offside, number 79, defense, still 3rd down.
now it's 3rd and 15 though, rather than 3rd and 20.
Otherwise, it had been 4th down. If they hadn't accepted the penalty, been 4th down, they'd have had a punt. At least they got another shot at picking up the 1st down.
Those big Chargers up front have been right down in the dirt. Those uniforms indicate the play in the trenches on a wet field, but the rain has been really non-existent since early in the game, and there was a threat of as many as 2 inches of rain today. Here's a throw, and Logan goes up, comes down with the ball. He'll be short of a 1st down by about 3 or 4 yards. Got the ball out to the 41-yard line of Cleveland.
That's 2 in a row for Dave Logan, catching it. 2 times he was short, and 2 times he took a pretty good hit. Taking a look at the secondary, what I'm talking about. Look at the depth that they're getting back there. And what they're doing is just playing center field and hoping that Sipe throws the ball and it's too high. If it's too high, then they got an excellent chance of coming up making the interception. They'll just let Logan make the catch for 13 or 14 yards. Give them that, but make them punt on 4th down.
Well, Tom Bass, the defensive coordinator for San Diego, says you must adapt the defense to the people. He said, here's a fake, and it is at a, oh man, it's going to be so close. I think he might have it.
I was just going to say this is maybe a time that they would try to fake the punt and go for it. 4:39 remaining in this 3rd quarter, and they're down by 21 points.
Oh, This is going to, if it's there, it's by the nose of the ball. And it might not be there. I don't know. We'll have to see. The markers will come out. The up back to block on the punt was the fullback, Mike Pruitt. As you saw, he ripped it ahead on the fake punt. And now Ozzie Newsome's confident. He says we got it. They do. Or do they?
I don't know. The officials and everybody's in the way. They're all trying to help.
They'll have to get the calipers out. Sam Ratigliano trying to. We got the first down.
It's got to be as close as it possibly can.
That brought a smile to Art Modell's face in the next booth over here, and there hadn't been many today. So the Browns get the first down.
There it is. As you see, it's centered to number 43, Pruitt. You can see that Kuzno is in there. He's pulling to block, looking for a hole. There's a slight hole there. The Chargers do really a fine job of sealing it up. I think maybe they were anticipating the possibility of that. Just by the narrowness of margins, the Browns continue to go offensive.
The head linesman marked the ball, and now here's the throw, and Charles White gets it, and a penalty marker comes in again as White gets ahead for an 8-yard gain. But a penalty marker is thrown in the Cleveland backfield. And the call is against the Browns. The Browns have been misfiring often, and their pass blocking has not been good. A residual effect of the strike, perhaps.
Well, you look at all the drop passes against for a team like the Cleveland Browns. Dino Hall doesn't drop them, and Logan doesn't drop them. Newsome doesn't really ordinarily drop them. It makes you wonder that if that really had, the strike had an effect on that.
73, offense.
Well, Doug Deacon is caught for holding, but they should only get half the distance because he's got a broken hand on his right hand. So instead of 10 yards, I'll just give him 5 because he can only be holding with one hand.
So it's been a misfire drive for the Cleveland Browns. 4 plays and 3 penalties with 4:20 to go in the third quarter. Feature goes wide left, so does Logan. First down and 20. Sipe gets it away to Pruitt. Pruitt gets across the 40. He got back some of the lost yardage on the penalty, 8 yards of it. It's going to bring up second and long, though.
A little pressure on Sipe that time. The last play, number 73, Doug Deacon, who's the offensive captain.
Somebody in the stands here, Lenny, as an official's whistle has been blowing. I thought the play was blown dead.
But you can see that it's very difficult. He grabbed that time also. But he can only grab with his left hand because his right hand is broken. That time, Brian got rid of the ball just in time, or just before he got sacked.
Second down and 13 for Cleveland. Ball at the Browns' 42-yard line. Sipe sends 4 people long and fires over the middle, and Ozzie Newsome looks at a tip ball and catches it. Newsome got the ball at the 42-yard line of the San Diego Chargers. It was tipped, and Ozzie that time came down with it.
Well, that's the Ozzie Newsome that I'm accustomed to seeing, somebody that comes up with great catches. That time the ball was deflected. Sipe going up top. San Diego's defensive players in an excellent position. You can see the linebacker pops it up in the air.
2 guys.
He is there. Number 82, Ozzie Newsome, coming up with the ball, and a first down for the Cleveland Browns.
A 17-yard gain on the play advances the ball to the 41-yard line of San Diego. The overcast skies full of rain, but so far it's held off since early in the first quarter. The field is wet, though, from earlier rain this week. Last week. 7th play of the drive coming up, and it's first and 10 Cleveland. Sipe has time, but he's going to run out of it. Now he gets the ball off to Donald Odom. One of the tight ends, Odom, takes the ball ahead down to the 36-yard line. A 4-yard gain. The scoreboard ringing up new numbers around the league. Miami now taking command of Minnesota 19-7 in the fourth quarter. Andre Franklin just ran for a 9-yard touchdown for the Dolphins. Green Bay has extended its lead over Buffalo to a surprising 27-7 as Lynn Dickey just threw to John Thompson for another score. Tampa Bay has come back from a deficit to take the lead over New Orleans 13-10 on a Capiz field goal. And Baltimore continues to lead Cincinnati. That would be the upset of the year if it holds up. It's got a long way to go.
It's hard to believe that's good.
2nd and 6. Here's a throw and a reception, and Ozzie Newsome again is on the receiving end. He's ahead for a Cleveland first down. Browns moving the ball very well in this half, but still they've not been in the end zone for a touchdown 3 times. They had balls skip off the fingers of receivers in the end zone in this game.
What they're doing is spreading out that defense, and San Diego's defense is conceding the short gains. 1:22 remaining on the clock in the 3rd period. They've got a 21-point lead.
They've had the ball, the Cleveland Browns, virtually the whole 3rd period.
Yes. Except for about 3 plays, I think.
1st and 10 now for Cleveland. Handoff goes to Pruitt, and he's knocked down as he hits the 28. Charger defense fills very well.
Yes.
Thrift, the middle backer, 59, was there.
He was not fooled on that play. That was a quick trap play, thinking that the linebackers would be going back once again, getting depth looking for a pass, but Thrift diagnosed that play extremely well. No huddle for the Cleveland Browns. What this does is prevent San Diego from sending in additional defensive plays.
Marker is down as Sipe throws to a wide open Ozzie Newsome. He's down to the 4-yard line. The man that Bahr Bryant called the greatest receiver in Alabama history. Ozzie Newsome comes down, but there's a penalty marker down at the line of scrimmage. 24-yard gain if it goes. And apparently it's against the Chargers, and the play goes, and now the Browns have it. 1st and goal inside the 5.
Let me bring up something. They did not huddle that last time. It was a second long yardage, and generally what San Diego would have done is send in some players defensively.
Good point.
No huddle, so they can't do that. This is Newsome going right down the seam. An excellent throw by Brian Sipe, right on the money once again, and he makes the reception. Play pass.
Takes a look, man's wide open. Touchdown, Cleveland. Ozzie Newsome. 9 receptions for Ozzie Newsome, and that one the payoff.
You know, early in the first half, I was beginning to wonder why they hadn't gone to Ozzie Newsome. They didn't really go to him. The one pass he threw to him, it was deflected. San Diego intercepted. He did drop a pass in the end zone not too long ago, but here is a great catch. That's why I said maybe the strike has affected this team, because it's a great catch. Look at him. Look at the concentration on his. Goes up, and he's going to hit the ground and maintains possession of the football. So I say that's the type of catches I'm accustomed to Ozzie Newsome making.
Field goal is good, and now it's a 27-13 game, and we've got the whole 4th quarter to be played. There are 23 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter.
And here it is once again. Sipe going back, play action pass, getting it out to Ozzie Newsome, making an outstanding catch into the end zone for a touchdown, getting the Browns back in it. We'll be back in a minute.
Most productive day ever as a receiver for Cleveland. He's had some great days in his 4 years. Ozzie Newsome with 9 receptions for 130 yards, and the first touchdown of the day for the Browns is, again, they held the ball for a long time, going 65 yards in 11 plays. We saw an onside kick almost perfectly executed.
I don't believe this time. They're 14 points down. They want to get them back in the hole.
Cox, straightaway kicker, hits it deep. Goes into the end zone, and the Chargers come out 1st and goal on their 20. And they did well to down the ball because that's a live football in the end zone. San Diego taking time, finally putting the ball down. Wes Chandler was back. So with 14 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter, the Chargers come back out on offense, 1st and 10. San Diego with 2 touchdowns today from Chuck Muncie, who's not played since the 2nd quarter when he went out after a long run after a pass reception. And the other 2 by James Brooks. But in the 3rd quarter, it's all Cleveland. The only points in the 3rd quarter scored by the Browns. They scored 10. Outscored San Diego 10-0 in the 3rd quarter, which will end with this play. Brooks runs the ball across the 25 on a 1st and 10 play. He got to the 27. So there's a 7-yard gain for San Diego. And that does it for 3 periods of play. At the end of the third quarter, the score is the Chargers 27, the Browns 13. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. The San Diego Chargers get the ball back, but that third quarter, Len Dawson, was all Cleveland Browns, and Sipe did very well.
Well, one thing that Cleveland wanted to do was keep the ball away from the offensive unit of the San Diego Chargers. They were able to do that, but more importantly, they had to keep it away from them and put points on the board. They did that, but San Diego came right back, picking up 7 yards on running play on first down. Their offense is still very much in gear.
Always. That time, the Browns get the linebackers shooting into the gap. Cousineau was in there, and also on the play for the Cleveland Browns was 79 Bob Golick, the middle guard, who was an All-American linebacker at Notre Dame and went to New England as a second-round draft choice. Starting today for the first time in the pros as a middle guard, but really that was the position he played the most in college. He was usually down to 3-point over the center.
You're talking about time. How much time? Look at the time possession after 3 quarters.
For the whole game. Browns had it almost the whole third quarter. Again, Cleveland's defense rises up. On 3rd and 2 yards, the San Diego Chargers don't get there, and they'll have to punt the ball back to Cleveland.
You know, we were talking about the Browns and how defensively they really didn't look too inspired out there in the first half. That's the first time I think that I've seen them in the ball game, the last 2 plays, to really get aggressive, get penetration defensively, and make a good hit. And I'm trying to think, this is the first time that the San Diego Chargers have had to punt the football.
White Walker is back, and there's another rookie, Maury Buford, out of Texas Tech, ready to punt the ball for the Chargers. Boy, that's a good punt snap. Drills it back there, and a good punt by Buford. And upfield is White Walker. Penalty marker. Browns get the ball, but they start off in a hole, as there'll be a call against the Browns on a clip on the return. A punt of 51 yards and a return of 6, according to NBC statistician Joe Costanza.
Well, if he said so, that's what it is. That was the second punt, wasn't it?
Man has a sharp pencil.
Second punt for San Diego. The problem with the Browns, when you try to go sideways like that, you're taking a chance that there's going to be some illegal use of the hands or a clipping penalty, and that's what happened. The best punt returns are ones when that punt returner gets the ball, breaks straight up the field to get through the first wave, and then can cut one way or the other. But you got to get by that first wave first. Here it is. Making the reception. He's going to go sideways now instead of straight up the field, which means that that's going to string out things, giving the opportunity for the Browns to either use illegal use of the hands or a clip hitting below the waist, and that's what happened in that situation. Taking them back inside the 20-yard line. Browns have the ball. We're going to be back right after this timeout.
Saying, where's my offense? Where's my points? We don't have any this half. But they had 27 in the first half and led 27-3. In the third quarter, Cleveland scored 10 unanswered points. It's back in the game to a degree, 27-13 with 13:30 left to play, and the Browns again have the ball. Brian Sipe taking his time, and he goes to Pruitt. That will be there all the time in front of the linebacker drop. And Pruitt catches the ball out across the 20 on first down. The Browns gain 8. Woody Lowe, who played with Ozzie Newsome at Alabama, made the stop.
Here it is, Mike Pruitt coming out of the backfield. 51 is Woodrow Lowe. Now he's going to go out in front of him, and he loosens up. Woodrow Lowe loosens up on him, so Sipe gets him the football. Sipe was reading him. He also had another receiver in that area. He was reading Woodrow Lowe to see which direction he was going to go, and that determines which man he's going to throw the ball to.
Second down and 2 now for Cleveland. San Diego defense looking for Mike Pruitt all the way, and they got him. Ferguson was there, Keith Ferguson. As the game clock winds down to 12:38 and running in the fourth quarter. And now it's become almost a nice day from a rain standpoint. The clouds have seemed to blown away, and it's still a very mild mid-60 temperature enveloping northern Ohio, which is normally a frigid, ice-packed American city at this point in the year. In December, you'll recall the playoff game of a few years ago in Oakland, and the Browns locked up on that January day.
Ooh, that was cool.
Chill factor of -40 below that day. Charles White runs the ball and comes across the 20 on 3rd down and 2. He might be short. We'll see if the Browns elect to move it out.
If they're short, I don't know. It depends on how short they are, but I doubt if they'd go for it.
just short. Clock's running, 11:50. Yep.
They're calling a timeout. They're going to come over to the sidelines and make the decision. You can see hands going up. It's less than a yard to go for a first down.
A lot of times teams, as you're well aware, Lenny, will come out and set up like they're going to go from scrimmage and wait to see the other team jump, and if they don't, they'll just send in the punting team after delay a game.
Well, you can see it's right there that it looks like about a foot and a half. Well, the fans are telling you what they would like to see happen.
Well, the fans and Coach Bertigliano are in agreement. The Browns will go for it.
Dave Logan, you notice coming off the field here, just looking at Bertigliano, he is holding his right shoulder. I wonder if there's anything wrong with him.
I think we should also point out, Lenny, if the Browns don't get it here on 4th and a yard, this ball game is gone because San Diego takes over at the 23.
Well, they're 2 touchdowns behind, 11 and a half minutes to go in the game.
Sipe might take it himself.
He's going to throw it. He's got a man open, too.
Newsome gets the ball, but there's a penalty marker down in the San Diego secondary.
He had Ricky Feature coming across the field wide open. I don't know what the play is going to be.
There was yards enough on the first down, though, on the reception for the first down. The calls against San Diego for the Browns win.
Gutsy call, real gutsy call, I'll tell you that. Play action pass when everybody in the stadium thought that they were going to go for the ball for the first down by running it. They had 2 tight ends in blocking, and everybody's blocking, including one of the tight ends. You can see that Mike Pruitt is back there. He's looking downfield for a man, but he goes to the outside, picks up the first down. San Diego was called for holding defensively. But it was a gutsy call.
Sure was.
That's, well, an onside.
There's no question the game hung in the balance. I mean, any chance Cleveland had of winning was gone if that play didn't go, because the Chargers and all that offense would have had the ball 1st and 10 at the 23-yard line of Cleveland with a 14-point lead. The chances are great that San Diego would have gone in for another. While we have a delay in the action now, we'll look at some of the other scores coming in. The Vikings have just scored on a Galbraith run. It's 19-14. Miami leading. Giants have just scored a 2-yard run by Butch Woolfolk. They now trail Houston 14-10 with 6.5 to play in the 4th quarter. Green Bay's putting a hurting on the Buffalo Bills. It's 30-7 in the 4th quarter. Stenerud just kicked the field goal. 26-13, the Bears lead the New England Patriots at Chicago. On 1st and 10, here's Brian Sipe looking around. He's got a man. Cleo Miller coming out of the backfield. Got some, not a lot, maybe 3. And he got a load of Bruce Laird when he caught the ball.
I'll tell you, the 2 safeties for the Chargers are real hitters, Laird and Tim Fox. They really will go after you. Now, that time, Cleo Miller was open earlier. And I would have got more yardage had Brian gotten the ball, but Brian is looking not for the short stuff so much, but to go downfield 15 or 20 yards in the middle. But I think that if he wants some quick yardage right away, those backs are open in the flat because those linebackers are flying out.
2nd down and 6. Big rush, and Ferguson is there with the sack, and here's another penalty marker. Keith Ferguson, a 2nd-year player out of Ohio State who's been coming on at defensive end, gets the sack of Brian Sipe. They had one earlier in the game when they caught Sipe when he was running around in the backfield, you remember. Holding against Cleveland.
That's the problem when you have to throw the ball all the time. You're 2 touchdowns down, and the quickest way to score is throwing.
They declined because there was a loss on the sack, and the down used up, and now it'll be 3rd down and about 13. The 11th penalty of this game against Cleveland. That is definitely a effective strike.
Yes, it hurts.
So now the Cleveland offense, which has played very well in the 2nd half. San Diego's not scored in the 2nd half. The Cleveland offense must deliver here on a 3rd down and 14 play. Up to 22. There's the throw. Charles White has it, but he's not going to get to the first down yardage. He got out to the 30. almost 5 yards short. Woodrow Lowe hemmed him in and knocked him down.
Pretty good pressure by that defensive front four of the San Diego Chargers. They made Brian Sipe throw that ball a little sooner than he wanted to. And once again, the linebackers, defensive backs just dropping back, conceding the short stuff in front. That's why you can't get in a 3rd and 15 situations. You can't be holding and get into a situation like that. You can pick up 5 and 6 yards very easily on a team that drops back so quickly. But 15 and 16 yards is a little more difficult to attain.
Scheduling is certainly with the Raiders the rest of the way. They have one away game next week. And this is how a punt coming from Steve Cox looks to a San Diego receiver, James Brooks. It ain't easy returning those punts. And James Brooks elects not to on that one. The Chargers, as we mentioned, will be at San Francisco to go against the 49ers next Saturday, a game you'll see here on NBC. Then they'll be home against Cincinnati on Monday, December 20th, home against Baltimore, then the Raiders. In reception, we tell you that this 1982 National Football League game is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. By the calling card from Bell for calling when you're away from your home or office. And by Atari, the leader in home video games for fun your whole family can share. Newsome's TD, the subsequent extra point by Bahr, made it a 27-13 game. You remember earlier there was a missed extra point by the Browns and 2 missed field goals by Bahr. 7 points they could sorely need right now. Bounce to Brooks out of the backfield, no connection. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Len?
Looking at San Diego this second half, it's a completely different team. They only have 45 yards in total offense. One reason is because Cleveland has held the ball most of the second half. But when you're sitting on the sidelines, you know, like the Chargers have been, you get anxious to get in there, and I think that's what happened on that pass that time. Dan Fouts throwing it a little quicker than he wanted to.
He's ready to go again. Here's Dan Fouts setting up in that returfed area of the field. He throws a perfect strike out to Charlie Joyner, turning out of the 37-yard line. He's right where he had to be for a first down.
And that was a perfect pass by Fouts. He really put it the only place where Joyner could catch the ball, still be in bounds, because Ron Bolton, the defensive back, had excellent coverage on it.
Last week, Lenny, I was talking to Fouts at the Chargers practice, and Joyner came over, and I asked Joyner if he was going to play again next year, and Fouts answered that. He said, "You bet he is. He's not allowed to retire till we find somebody better, and that could be a long time." Pitch back to the lone setback Brooks, and he's out ahead to the 39-yard line and knocked down there by Dick Ambrose, by Eddie Johnson. A couple more scores coming in. St. Louis now holding to a 3-point lead over Philadelphia. John Spagnola just caught a touchdown pass from Ron Jaworski to get the Eagles right back in it. There's 12-18 left to play. And the Giants on a Scott Bruner to Butch Woolfolk touchdown pass that covered 40 yards have gone in front of Houston 17-14. James Brooks has 67 yards rushing and 14 carries for San Diego. Quick slant. Chandler, the athlete, looking to break away. Weaving ahead on a 2nd and 8 play. It looks like he has a first down for the Chargers. Hansford Dixon finally caught him.
That was single coverage out there on Chandler, and I think it probably was a check off at the line of scrimmage. When Fouts sees that, sees one-on-one on this man, he gets the ball out to him on just a quick hitch pattern, and then let somebody try to make an open field tackle on him. It's not very easy to do. Because the last time he had the tight, everybody blocking, everybody stayed in block, he included the tight end.
8:13 to play in the game now. Chargers with this drive, their only good one of the second half, are using up the clock, and of course they still have the 27-13 lead to San Diego as Brooks tries to run wide. On first down, there's not much there. Now while we have them all, we switch back to NFL 82 in New York.
This is Len Berman, NFL 82 in New York, and the Giants have just taken the lead over Houston. It's Bruner to Butch Woolfolk. Here's the catch of the day. A turnaround, spin around, one-hand grab, 40 yards. The Giants have taken the lead. Let's go back to Cleveland.
7:32 left to play in the game. Chargers have the ball. 2nd down and 9 coming up. Up the middle it goes, and catching the ball is Kellen Winslow, who's not had one of his big days. But you're always ready for him to detonate into a defense and break it apart. He goes ahead for a first down there, and the Chargers drive on.
Kellen Winslow and Ozzie Newsome both had 226 career receptions coming into the game. And here it is. He's going between the linebackers. Fouts is reading the linebackers, and he gets the ball to Kellen Winslow. And Fouts, I believe, has said that he thinks that Kellen Winslow is the finest athlete in the National Football League. I don't know as if there's going to be too many people that will argue with that.
Well, the numbers certainly back it up. 177 receptions in the last 2 seasons. Came in today with 24 receptions. And Newsome, who'd been quiet, there were 8 tight ends who caught more balls than Newsome through the first 4 weeks, with 9 receptions today for 130 yards. His most productive day as a Cleveland Brown. He's had some great ones. Now the clock shows 7 minutes left to play. There's Ozzie Newsome, the Wizard of Oz. Very few go over the middle and catch the ball and take the hit like he does.
Well, that's, you know, shows a sign of a player that is an outstanding one now. Both Newsome and Kellen Winslow, they know when they make the catch between linebackers, somebody is going to hit them.
First and 10, up the middle and running with the ball is Ricky Bell, who's done very little since coming from Tampa Bay. Has very little playing time. Come in today, Muncie's not played since the second quarter. Buffalo Bills trailing 30-7 to Green Bay have just scored on a Ferguson to Mark Bramer tight end pass play. It's 30-14 now. Green Bay leading.
What San Diego has to do is keep control of that ball and not give it away to Cleveland.
Second down and 7. Whoa! Chandler's open. Wes Chandler flying down the near sideline, and Dan Fouts with a sonar accuracy pass.
And he paid for it. Clinton Burrell, the strong safety, really hit him as he made that reception along the sidelines.
Fouts looks the defense away, then throws a perfect lead strike.
There is the hit. And believe me, that hurts. Fouts knows exactly where everybody is on that football. I'm talking about his receivers. So what he does is just read the defense and see what they're going to give them.
Chargers mounting an impressive drive now in the fourth quarter and running the clock as they give it to James Brooks, who hits now the 11-yard line.
Clock is definitely a factor now. 5:55 and counting down in this football game, and a 14-point lead for the San Diego Chargers. So it looks like, unless they give the football away, Cleveland is in deep trouble, because they're definitely in field goal range right now.
And Eric Coryell on the move as the season wears on. Getting set to head to San Francisco next Saturday. Brooks runs it down to the 10-yard line. And the Chargers keep the clock ticking. It's down to 5:20 and running. Fourth quarter, Chargers lead the game 27-13. They led at the half 27-3. Golick again was on the tackle, the middle guard for the Cleveland Browns, playing over the nose of center Don Masick of San Diego.
Marshall Harris also came in there, and he just threw his body to cut that ball carrier down at the line of scrimmage.
Chandler goes left. Charlie Joyner goes right. Winslow's deployed left. Eric Sievers set to the right. Third down and 4.
The blitz is on.
James Brooks is on. He gets down close to the 6-yard line, very close to a first down. He was running for that red tape, which marks the first down spot.
That was a good guess by the San Diego Chargers. It was a quick count. The blitz was on, which means the defense is all coming up the middle, penetrating the middle, looking to stop the passing game. They pitched it outside, which means the pursuit is up the middle. It's not to the outside.
Fourth down and inches, so Rolf Benirschke and that padded left arm come trotting on out to try a field goal, which will be a short one straight away. This can be a very difficult place to kick, this open end of Cleveland Stadium. The lake is just beyond it, and the winds come in. They've kicked up now, blowing across the field. Luther holding. Benirschke into the ball nicely. He's as accurate as has ever been from inside the 30, hitting over 95% inside the 30 during his career. 4:43 left to play. Benirschke puts the Chargers up 30-13. As good as there is inside the 40-yard line. Look at that. He's only missed 2. And he Here's his kickoff downfield. Dino Hall takes it for the Browns. He's to the 20 and to the 21. So with just 4:34 left to play, Brian Sipe and the Cleveland offense come out again. A long day in Cleveland now as San Diego, after the Browns dominated the third quarter, very much in command. This is Don Crickey back at Cleveland Stadium, 30-13. Seattle and the Raiders hook up today. You've seen Seattle lately, Lenny. They must be a good-looking outfit.
Defensively, they've really come on strong. Against Denver in the first quarter, they shut them out. Against Pittsburgh, they shut them out 16-0, won the game. Good throw by
Ricky Feature is right there at the 49-yard line. First down, Cleveland. A good throw by Sipe, and Feature turning out takes the ball for a 28-yard Cleveland gain. Art Modell, the president of the Cleveland Browns.
Right behind him, a great receiver, Paul Warfield, who's the vice president with the Cleveland Brown organization.
To the right was Bill Davis, the head of personnel. The Giants rallied from behind. They were down 14-3 and beat the Oilers 17-14. Danny Fulton is out wide to the right now. Sipe stands in, throws long. Look at the catch by Dave Logan, a one-hand reception down to the 32-yard line.
Don, I saw him earlier, and he caught that with his right hand, and he was holding his right shoulder. Those are the type of catches that the Cleveland Browns receivers have been making over the years. A high pass. Sipe getting a little bit of pressure, but you're going to see number 85, Dave Logan, go up in the air, bring it down into his stomach, changes the ball to the other hand. A first down. Great catch.
What an athlete. The only player in the NFL that was drafted to play professionally in all three major sports. He was drafted in Major League Baseball, basketball, and also, as we're well aware, football by the Browns, who's been a great one coming out of Colorado 7 years ago. 6'5", 210. And now the Browns drive on with 3:27 to play. Sipe has been hot here in the second half. Our producer Michael Wiseman pointing out that he's now completed 13 passes in a row to tie a team record. This one's completed. It sets a record. The Browns need more, and they need it quickly, though, with the clock running with 3:05 left to play. Ricky Feature, the receiver. Woodrow Lowe, the hitter.
I'm looking at Dave Logan, and he is really carrying his right shoulder low. That catch that he made was amazing, because I know it had to be very painful. 332 yards. You ask why is Sam Partigliano staying with his pads? Because he can do it.
Swing pass. That stops the streak. You would have thought the streak would have gone to 15 for sure on that.
Well, I know, but I think maybe he really wasn't that concerned about it. I'm sure Brian doesn't even know that.
No.
But he's more interested in stopping the clock with 2:39 remaining. Taking a look at Dave Logan, number 85, the fine receiver for the Cleveland Browns. He is running down there, but to me, I've watched him, and you see he's not doing much with his right hand, his right arm. I think his right shoulder is bothering him. That's why I say, Don, it's even that more amazing that he is able to make that great one-handed catch. Got the receiver spread out all over the field. It's a draw play.
That time, good defense by Rick Ackerman. Number 91, he stopped the draw.
Number 85, Dave Logan. Look, well, you can see something's wrong with him. Now, look, he's not moving the right arm at all. He's been doing that, I know, for the entire fourth quarter. We're going to be back with San Diego well in ahead. 2:21 remaining. Browns still have the ball. We'll be back in just a moment. Look at his right arm. Now that defensive back, the way he's running out there, not utilizing his right arm, Jeff Allen, the defensive back, knows that he is not going to catch the ball. And now he's come to the sidelines. He's been hurting, I know, I think all of the fourth quarter. And I said that about 3 times. It really amazes me that he was able to bring that one reception down when he caught it with his right hand.
Ozzie Newsome at 10 receptions today. Franco Harrison, one game for the Steelers, caught 11. That was the most numerically productive day for any receiver. Franco getting all of his out of the backfield, obviously, and Ozzie's been getting a lot of his way downfield for the Browns. He has a lot of yards to go with 10 receptions. Now the game clock is going to wind down to 2 minutes.
2 tight ends in the ball game, and you've got Ozzie Newsome out as a wide receiver.
So with 2 minutes on the clock and play stop, Brian Sipe comes to the sideline for some counsel. And now here comes another one of those fantastic finishes. The Cleveland Browns trailing with 2 minutes to play in the game, 30-13. Have the ball now at the 10-yard line. Actually, the nose of the ball inside the 10, so it will be first and goal. And Dave Logan, despite a bad right shoulder, who made that one-handed catch with the right hand, then came out back in the lineup as the Browns try to get it into the end zone with time probably too short to let them get back in this game, although they're going to be pitching the whole way.
Well, they've got to score a touchdown, an onside kick, score another touchdown, another onside kick. It's going to be very difficult. I'd be very surprised. I'm looking at Dave Logan. I'd be surprised if they went to him.
Now they're bringing 2 people over. Williams is on him, and Laird comes over to double up on it because he can go up in the air to get it, as we saw a little bit ago. And they're looking at Logan. They're going up the middle, though, and it's to the fullback, Pruitt. And Cliff Thrift, the middle linebacker, doing his job well, picking up the first back out on pass coverage, makes the knockdown. A gain of 2 yards. It's the game clock winding down to 1:38 to play. Pruitt was looking the wrong way, and Sipe is red hot over that because it was very nearly intercepted, and if it was, well, Sipe could have made the tackle. It was going the distance.
Right. His job is to take that linebacker out of there, but if he gets out there quickly, gets his head turned around, the ball might come to him. That's what happened on that occasion. Very slow with the head coming around. You can't afford to do that down there. The back going out of the backfield's got to get out there as quickly as he can to get his head turned around, look for the ball. Cannot assume it is not going to be thrown to you down here.
Oh, Dino Hall, who lost one earlier in the end zone, seemingly had a touchdown there. But he loses the ball, and that brings up 4th down and goal from the 6-yard line. A field goal of no consequence now. Touchdown really isn't, but the Browns will have to try for one.
33 completions for Sipe. That's a team record. The old record was 31. But when you look at the scoreboard, that doesn't mean anything at all, because it says San Diego 30, Cleveland 13.
Thanks, so we have a moment to NBC statistician Joe Costanza, for our spotters John Betschkoll and Pete Halpin, also helping in the booth Don Drebus and Gary Chubik. 4th and goal for the Cleveland Browns, 6-yard line of San Diego. Well, a blitz comes, and incomplete. Lyndon King coming from the weak linebacker side, and Lyndon King gets to Brian Sipe. He has to release the ball for no connection, and the ball turns over to the Chargers with 1:19 to play.
That time they had the backs going out of the backfield. They had the receivers going downfield. Number 82 is Newsome. It's man-to-man coverage. He's working on Baird. Baird slips, and he's wide open, but Sipe threw it short because number 57, the linebacker of the San Diego Chargers, Lyndon King, was all over him. If he hadn't have been, it would have been a touchdown for the Cleveland Browns, I'm sure.
Defensive coordinator Tom Bass of the Chargers calling for a blitz at an opportune time as they stop what would have been a short touchdown for Cleveland. And now San Diego with 4 downs, looking to run out the clock and end it and extend their record to 3-2, heading to San Francisco for a game Saturday with the 49ers that you'll see here on NBC. The run up the middle by James Brooks takes the ball to the 11, and the game clock is down to 1:12 as Cleveland signals 4 and is allotted a timeout.
Cleveland has 1 timeout remaining.
Next Sunday, we've got doubleheader football action here on NBC Sports. The Battle of Ohio features the Browns visiting Ken Anderson and the defending AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals, who are having their problems at the moment in Baltimore. Many of you will see the Pittsburgh Steelers, who looked impressive again today, pitted against the Buffalo Bills. Then at 4 o'clock Eastern time, the Raiders and the Chiefs renew their rivalry, while the Denver Broncos take on the Los Angeles Rams. It all starts at 12:30 Eastern time with NFL 82 right here on the home of the Super Bowl and BC Sports. Sam Ratigliano, his face reflecting the difficult position that he and the Browns are in right now. Their record will drop to 2-3 in this strike-shortened season. Their playoff hopes with every loss diminished greatly. As Retigliano said before the game, you can't call it a must game, but certainly the team that loses is going to be way down in a bid for a playoff position.
I think the last scene that we were looking at, the empty seats at this 80,000 seat stadium here. When you win, you fill them.
Well, the Browns sure do, but James Brooks calls it and takes it out close to the 16-yard line with the game clock coming down to 1 minute to play, and the Browns are allotted their last time out. A famous arena it is, Cleveland Stadium, a cavernous stadium. The Browns, 1981, you see 72,000. The average attendance always, they're near the top or at the top of the National Football League's attendance list. It's in this stadium that the Browns, behind the passing arm of Otto Graham, came to the National Football League in 1950 and won the league championship their first year. Lost in the championship game the next 2 years and then won 2 straight NFL titles. 3 of the first 5 years they were in the NFL. They won the National Football League championship and lost in the playoff in the final game on 2 occasions. The Browns' last championship came on the Frank Ryan, Gary Collins team. Leroy Kelly running back in 1964. 1:03 left to go, and there's the final numbers up. The Miami Dolphins open up a 4-1 record, an impressive victory today over the Minnesota Vikings. Miami rebounding from Monday night loss to Tampa Bay.
I think that's why this game is so important. There were 6 teams with a 3-1 record, 4 teams with a 2-2 record. That included the 2 teams out here this afternoon.
James Brooks takes it ahead and gets a first down for San Diego. And now the Browns out of timeouts, helpless to stop the clock, as the Chargers huddle at their leisure, ready to sail on back to San Diego and get ready for the Niners. And of course, coming up next, NFL Report, as the stories, the highlights, and the scores of week number 5 come in. The biggest upset on the board at the moment is Baltimore leading Cincinnati, but that one has a ways to go. They started at 2 o'clock Eastern time in Baltimore. And Fouts with the countdown play. Coach Coryell, his men doing a big job and very well. Sam Retigliano's Browns going off the field. Losers for a 3rd time this season in 5 games, and the Chargers really starting to roll now after consecutive victories over Denver and today the Cleveland Browns. The final score, San Diego 30, Cleveland 13. We'll be right back at Cleveland Stadium. Brody back at Cleveland Stadium, where it's ended another Charger victory. Excuse me, John Brody. Len Dawson, normally with Mr. Brody at my side. Len Dawson very much here, the man who played with the Browns before he got a chance to play, and when he finally did at Kansas City, he's still wearing that Super Bowl ring, as we see.
Now you take a look at Chuck Muncie walking on the field. Chuck did not play in the second half. Looked like he had injured his nose, which shouldn't be any big problem, but he did grab his knee when he was tackled on the sideline. Sam Retigliano, as you can tell by the expression on his face, not very happy with the loss. That's an uphill battle now for the Cleveland Browns. For this man, Don Coryell, and the San Diego Chargers, they've got, look, he even smiled, I believe.
He's starting to break a smile.
That they're very much back in the thick of it.
The coordinating producer of NBC Football and the director of today's game is Ted Nathanson. The telecast of today's game has been produced by Michael Wiseman. Technical director Rick Lombardo. Associate director John Libretto. Now stay tuned for the Budweiser NFL Report right after these messages from your local stations. That's coming up from New York. NFL 82 as the San Diego Chargers, behind the right arm of Dan Fouts, roll to another victory. A lot of offense, particularly in the first half, when they build up an insurmountable 27-3 lead, and the Chargers go on to win 30-13. They didn't do a whole lot offensively in the second half. They didn't have to. Now for Len Dawson, this is Don Crickey. Glad you could be with us at Cleveland. NFL 82 is coming up after these words from your local station.
A promotion.